Evening, everyone, and welcome to JG's Fight Talk. And with me today, I am absolutely privileged to say, it's Natasha Jonas. How you doing, Tasha?
I'm good, thanks. Thanks for having me on.
No, it's honestly absolutely made up. Thanks for coming on. As I say, before we go into too deep stuff, I'm going to just hit the intro because that's what I have to do, you see.
Okay.
As I say, someone said to me the other day, that is so cheesy. It looks like something.
I think it's very professional. I'm impressed.
Well, I'm glad you do, because my mates go, that's shocking. What are you doing? But how you doing anyway?
I'm good. I'm just like in Milan, I was looking after Milan, watching a few back series, and then I'll go home.
Yeah, what you on at the moment?
My last one I've just said to Milan I'll put on for it is what's it called? Behind Her Eyes.
Yeah, my wife's watching it at the moment.
Oh, is she? I won't tell her. It's a good ending. It's good.
Yeah, she's watching this now, so be careful.
Okay.
Tell her everything. Tell her everything. Drop hints along the way. Do whatever you want. But yeah, as I say, it's been a difficult time for everyone. But like we were saying, you know, we've got the kids going back to school next week, and you know, you've only got one. You've only got one.
I've already got one, but listen, she's as hard work as 4, 5, 6. Because I have to entertain her. So I'm 24/7. I can't even get her out of my bed at the minute.
We've as I say, we've got 4, and yeah, you know, yeah, exactly. If you want some extra training and stuff, you can borrow the 4. You know what I mean? Because I'm sure they'll help you out. But, yeah. But let's go right back to the start of where it all began, because originally you were destined for football.
Yeah,
we go right.
I know. Yeah.
You were after a scholarship.
Yeah, I got a scholarship. I was in New Jersey in the States, and you know, at the time, even still now, America was probably the top team in the world for women's football, and you know, the opportunities there to play football were a lot greater than they were here. And there was a lady called Mia Hamm, who was the first ever £1 million sponsorship deal, Nike, and the first ever woman to get one, a boot sponsor. And after watching her in the World Cup, I decided, the 16, 17-year-old me decided that I was better than her, and that if I could just get myself to America, I'd get £1 million sponsorship like they do. I'd have a house like they do on Cribs, you know, I'd drive a Bentley. I had all these plans, all these pipe dreams, and it came crashing down, and I ended up boxing. So
when did you sort of make that transition from football to boxing then? Because that's, you know, I've spoken to some people and they were like, they started off with kickboxing, or you know, and then they went into it. So where did boxing sort of come into, you know, just finishing football?
So what happened was, I was on a scholarship for 4 years. I was supposed to be there for 4 years, and 2 years into it, I got injured. They basically said, I mean, we are talking 16 years ago, that you know, that it was the injury meant the end of my career, but football career. So I wasn't always that great academically, and I didn't kind of go to the university for the academic side. I wanted to play sport, so I decided to come home. When I came home, obviously, you know, I had a knee brace on. You know, I couldn't do any physical activity, and sport was really my motivation to do anything. I had 7 jobs in 1 year because I just couldn't be bothered really to do any of them. And I hated them all. And I was fine on the Friday, skipping out to work, and then the Monday, you know, being out with my mates all weekend and everything, I'd just be sick. I'd call in sick, I'd be like, I'm not coming in. And they'd be like, yeah, this has happened 4 weeks on the run. I'd be like, yeah, well, just fire me then. And that's kind of the attitude I had. So after that happening, you know, I wasn't involved in football anyway, so you lose like a big friendship group as well. I'd lost a lot of confidence because I'd put on a lot of weight, and I started just training in my uncle's karate gym. The whole family has done karate because, you know, he's like an 8th dan or whatever in it, and we've always done it as kids, and like the whole family done it. And so in his gym, it's got like a punch bag. I've run a machine, some free weights, and I've just wanted, when my brace came off, I thought, right, I'm going to do something, get a bit of confidence back, lose a bit of weight, and, you know, just get doing something to try and spark something. And there was a woman who used to live over the road from the gym, and she was his mate, and she looked after it when he weren't there because he wasn't from that area. And she knocked over and was like, I love, you know, seeing you coming in off the gym, you know, who are you, what are you doing, why are you here? And I was just like, oh, I'm his niece, he's given me a set of keys, I'm trying to lose a bit of weight, get a bit of confidence back and do something. She was like, oh, I've just started a women's only boxing club, a boxing sessions in the local gym, which was the Rotunda. You should come along, you know, it'd be better than training by yourself. And for months, I just kept on fobbing this woman off, and I was like, yeah, I'll go, and like I wouldn't go. I didn't have any intentions of going. And she'd be like, oh, I thought you was going to come, and I was like, yeah, I'll come next week, and didn't go. Eventually, it got that embarrassing that I thought, right, I am going to have to go to this session, just shut this woman up, and kind of like, you know, when she asked me next time, I'd be like, oh, I didn't like it, you know, and I don't really want to go back. And I went, and that was 16 years ago, and like I never ever looked back.
So, you know, we can blame that woman. All those months.
It ended up being my first coach, which is Sylvia Singleton, and obviously the Rotunda's ABC's a really prestigious club. So once I'd gone there for a couple of it was just a keep fit women's session at the start, and they were like, you know, we think you're good enough to fight for us if you want, but if you do that, you're going to have to join the amateur boxing side, which is different nights, different times. And obviously, like I said, I wasn't doing anything else. I weren't working on anything at the time, and I thought, right, go ahead, I'll do it. And you know, I was from that day forward, I was a boxer.
Yeah, the rest is history, as they say, isn't it? It's, you know. But then you went into doing the amateurs, didn't you? How did you get on with it? Because how many amateur fights did you have before you sort of hit the GB circuit?
The GB circuit didn't come till 2009 because there was no GB circuit for female boxing. Yeah, we was I was the first one to box, and we was the first ever team. So I started actually training with the lads in the January. The June, always on my birthday, was the ABAs. So I think I'd had 3 fights before the ABAs. I went into the ABAs. I had to box twice on the same day, once the next day. And how I did it, I'll never know. But I won the championships. So, and I was at 72 kilos as well then. It shows how much weight I've lost since. And once you start winning, obviously, the national championships, then you start going to tournaments for England. So it was literally within a 6-month period, I was boxing for England, and like for me, I'd only done it out of just like something to do kind of thing. And then when I really did enjoy the competing side. So when they said, "Oh, do you want to go to the national championships?" The coach Sylvia and Mick, who was my trainers in the club, they were like, "Look, we don't know if you can win it, but you know, there's even if you don't win it and you box well, there's England scouts that are going to be there. They'll be watching, so you could potentially be a part of the England setup regardless, because you're quite inexperienced." So I went there with the ambition of, I just have to perform well, and I might still get in England. I don't even have to win it. And then I went there and won it. And I was like, oh, all right, what do I do now? And then I was with Mick Gannon, Alwyn Belcher, and they was our first like England coaches.
Yeah, it's mad because it sounds like that first part of your life you've completely and utterly winged it.
Like, no.
You just kind of gone, yeah, I'll go with it. Yeah, you know, all I've got to do is turn up. Yeah, you know, see how it goes. Oh, I don't want to work this week. Oh, don't worry about it. And it's kind of like, and now look at you now. You know, you've got two bronze medals, a silver. It's like it's madness. And now you're a pro, and you know, one of the most exciting female boxers out there, to be honest. And
Cheers,
the last fight with Terry Harper was an absolute tear up. You know, it was one of those where, you know, it was contender for Fight of the Year. Did it get Fight of the Year?
It did for the Ring magazine, women's fight, I think, yeah. And round 5 or 6 got round of the year, I think, as well.
Yeah, that's all that matters. If the Ring magazine said it, then you know,
you can't argue with the Ring magazine.
Yeah. If both said it, then hey, you've done it. But it's kind of one of those. It was one of those fights so you can watch over and over again, regardless of.
Not me. I don't want to watch it.
as a fan. But yeah, because after that, you were supposed to have the rematch, weren't you?
Yeah, I think, you know, it was one of them things that a lot was said after
Was
the
there
fight.
a clause? Was there a rematch clause?
So what had happened was...
I've opened up a can of worms, haven't I?
Yeah, you know. what had happened was...
My bad.
They sent through the fight contract. Obviously, we'd already agreed all the stuff in it. I signed it and sent it back. Now, I think it was the Thursday before we were supposed to go down on the Monday. So the Thursday before we were supposed to go down, MTK and Tom had messaged me and said, look, there's something they haven't put in the contract Matchroom that they want in it, which was the rematch clause. And do you want it in it? And like, genuinely, I thought to myself, nah, they only want this. Basically, this is how my mind towards that was that they thought, like Eva Wallström, that I was going to be a good name for Teddy's, a good name on Teddy's, like, you know, book cards, whatever. So I thought, and I thought they've probably spoken to a few people that I've sparred with and heard stuff coming out the gym that I was training really well, and they thought, oh God, we didn't put a rematch clause in now. We just in case we need it, I'll put it in. And I thought, no, forget that they didn't want to put it in the first time because they thought it was like, they thought she'll breeze past me. So that's what they thought, we'll see. And Tom was like, no, like whatever you say, that's what we'll do. That's fine. They haven't put it in. That's their fault. So they went back and said, look, she's not going to sign it. That's it, is what it is. And how that came to bite me, how that came back to bite me. So yeah, and then so there was no rematch clause. So then after, obviously, we fought and we had the performance that we did, there was, you know, oh, we need to see this again, and you know, next month, oh yeah, it's going to be, you know, even straight immediately afterwards, yeah, we want to see it, Eddie, yeah, we want to see it, see, yeah, I'll do it, me, 100% I'll do it. And then it comes to after the fight, and not even, I think it was on the morning after. Obviously, I was doing a lot of interviews and stuff, and people were sending me clips of like Steffi's Instagram saying, you know, she's a big girl at this weight and she wants to, or she's only £3 over after day after, and you know she wants to go down. Now someone's lying, because after before the fight he was saying, you know, Teddy's a big super feather, and when she gets in the ring she's 10 pounds heavier. And I was saying, yeah, that's probably what I am, to be fair. Like, that's what most people are. I think get in the ring just under 10 stone, and that's what he was saying. But then on his Instagram, I think it was like a story, people were sending me saying, oh yeah, you know, she's only £3 over from at the fight weight, and she's going to go down, and they was like, he's already avoiding it. And I was like, you know, you're just like, oh, well, that's just what it is. It is what it is. And then, you know, then it came to, okay, Tom, can we sort it out and get the rematch? And then Eddie came back and was like, oh, she has to do a mandatory. And I was like, well, not really. So I was like, can we get onto the WBC and ask them, you know, can we do it? And they'd already logged in, or already, I don't know how the term is or what it is, but they'd already fought the mandatory, basically. So then we come to do, she was like, right, we'll do a 3-fight deal. So I was like, okay. I said, okay, if I can't have Harper, let me have Hamadouche, because she's the most feared of the division, I think. And I was like, well, if no one will fight her, I will. And then 3 days later, Matchroom signed Hamadouche. I thought, right, that's me in here. And then, so then he says, right, here's the contract, here's what it is, and like the money for Hamadouche was fine. He said, right, we can't get you Hamadouche for the show that was Katie, her, and Ball. We can't get you Hamadouche for that, but we'll get you someone of the
same sort of
caliber of
a
caliber of Heather Hardy. Then it'll be Hamadouche or Choi, and then it will be Harper. So Harper was never going to be an instant rematch ever, and that was the 3-fight offer. So the only one we couldn't agree money on was the Harper fight, and obviously if you don't agree one deal in the 3-fight deal, then all the deals were off. So that meant that all the deals were off because we couldn't secure the Harper fight. But you know, for all the talk and I turned it down and whatever, in essence, what Eddie says is right. He offered me more money than I got the first time, but the first time was terrible money anyway. I just took it for the opportunity and because I knew that I could win. So, and then he says, oh, you know, he turned it down, which I did, but it was only that fight that we couldn't agree on. Everything, and to be fair, in my defense, she was never ever going to be the next in line. I was always going to be 3 fights off anyway. So it like that. The whole instant rematch, that was never going to happen. I was never going to get that. So like it is what it is. And now, you know, now it's like, oh, we're taking a different route because we kind of need you. And I get that. For me, it's terrible, but I get why a team's doing that, because you know I'm very dangerous for not much reward for her. Like, you know what I mean? It's just really for her, it's to settle the score. But
surely as a champion, and this is just me speaking, but surely as a champion, you'd want to put that right. Like if I got a draw, for example, I would want to put it right that, you know, I beat Natasha Jonas. I would want to put that right, like you would if you'd won that night, and she turned around and said, look, you know, I want a rematch. You'd go, yeah, because I beat you again. It's that kind of. It seems strange that there's not that mentality there, and you know, it's how many hoops of fire have you got to jump through to get to where you deserve to be? You know, you've on 2 other women before you get an opportunity. I just find that really odd.
That was like, so when people are saying stuff, I'm like, well, it was never going to be the rematch anyway. I was 3 fights away, and probably. If I wanted to put myself in a mandatory position now, I'm probably 1 or 2 fights away, and that'd mean a fighter anyway. So there's different routes that I can take, and then when I get to the mandatory position, we'll see how important mandatories are. You know what I mean? When she avoided me because she had to take the mandatory, well, when I put myself in that position, we'll see how important they are to take, because I'll probably still be avoided.
Yeah, you've almost got to get yourself into that position, haven't you, where they've got nowhere to go. Except for someone coming around and going, now she's a mandatory, you've got to take that. That's what you need to happen, isn't it? Because otherwise it seems like it's going to be a dodge.
Exactly, and I was willing to take the hardest in the division. I asked Eddie Hearn for Hamadouche, and she is the hardest in the division. And personally, I think Harper beats Choi easy. Hamadouche and Maya would have been a really good fight. They've both got 2 totally different styles, but I think it would have been a good fight. Out of them 2, it is the hardest in the division, really, for me, personally.
Yes, and this isn't me attacking Terry Harper, because at the end of the day, I think she's a great fighter, same as you. She's a great fighter, isn't she? And and you know, hats off to her. A lot of the decisions are out of her hand.
Yeah, no, exactly. And so I believe that she wants the rematch, and I believe she wants to put that right, but I don't think her team are ready for that rematch now, or I don't think that she's ready for that rematch now, and don't tell her that. And I get that, because you're not going to say, well, we don't actually think you're good enough to do that yet. So we're going to have build it up another 2 ones, you know, 2 good fights, 2 good calibers, and then we'll see how it goes. So I do get it in the boxing sense. It just bode well with me.
No.
Yeah, do you know what I mean?
The thing is, we see it so many times, don't we? We see it so many times, and following this, you've even said, look, if I can't have Harper, I want Taylor.
I think Taylor called me out, to be fair. I think.
Would you jump at it if she turned around and said, "Come on, Jonas, it's your time"? Would you jump at that fight?
Of course I would. I've said from the beginning, I always want to be a world champion, and I've also said recently that anyone from 130 to 140 who's got a belt, they're my targets. I'm not going to keep chasing Harper. If that ship sailed. So anyone else within them weight divisions has got a belt, then that's who I want. And I've spoken to MTK and Tom and Mike and so the ones who who I do my dealings with, and I've said can we sort it out? And they're trying. So Taylor's one of them. She's 135. She's slap bang in the middle. So, and it's not just one belt; it's all a belt. So why wouldn't I? Why? I couldn't even embarrass myself by backtracking and be like, oh no, anyone but Taylor. No.
Yeah. Okay, so I don't really fancy that one.
I didn't mean 135. I meant 130, 140. No, of course. That's what I said. That's what I want. So if that fight comes, it comes. And that's anyone can get it.
Yeah. No, I love that attitude, because not all fighters are like you, Tasha. Not all fighters are like you. I'll tell you now. You see people that go. You can see the route they're going to take before they've even gone that direction. You kind of go, yeah. We know who you're kind of dodging. Where you're just kind of like, right, it's nothing personal. It's just business. I'm taking you, and that's
give me the opportunity, and I'll take it.
Yeah, that's what. Honestly, if anyone watches this, I hope they turn around and go, right, all right then, let's take her on, because I'd love to see those fights. I've got a message from Nicola Hopewell. She said, "Hi both, hope you're all well." And my wife's put, because my wife's only in the other room. I don't know why she's. But you were cool, Tasha.
Nice one.
Even I don't get that, to be honest. So do you know what I mean? I think it's part and parcel of being a husband. I'd love to see Tasha versus Taylor. So there you go. The people want it, don't they?
Yeah. And to be fair, a lot of people want the Harper fight, but I don't know if it's Eddie. I don't know if it's a guy. I don't know who doesn't want it, but it's not happening. So anybody else, I'll take my opportunities, however and whenever they come. I'm being in the gym since the start of the year, after not being able to get out at the end of last year. A bit disappointing, but it is what it is, and I'll be ready. All these fights that are coming up, I'll keep myself ready, and I don't wish a failed test on anyone, but if they do, I'll be there and I'll be ready to step in.
Just in case anyone does.
Everyone that's training now, I'm training like I'm fighting on these dates, because if anyone doesn't pass the COVID test, I'll be like, actually, I'm available, I'm free, so we'll see.
I'll take my hat off to you, especially at the moment, you have to be so ready, don't you? This is what, I know Eddie had been saying it, hadn't he? He'd been turning around and saying, look, if a test does fail, if this happens, that happens, a fight can go in, things can move around, you've got to be ready to go. It must have been odd, because the last time you fought, you obviously had no crowd there as well. How was that feeling? How for a fight of that sort of magnitude as well? It must have been so weird.
You know what? I think because, when we used to go away as GB, we'd go to tournaments in Russia in the winter, or the middle of China in the middle of nowhere. And so the only people that would be there was the people that was participating, really. And maybe Saturday, Sunday finals day, some of the locals would come and turn up. But I'm used to being in front of 12,000 people. I'm used to being in front of no one. So it wasn't too dissimilar for me. I'd kind of been in that situation before. Obviously, not with that, not that occasion, but I'd been there before, but when we were there and like, I mean, the hotel was boring, to be fair. And then when we got to the venue and that you know, it was a nice hot day. And then, you know, we had the pyrotechnics and we were topping the bill.
It
I was thinking, I can get used to this, you know what I mean? I was thinking, this. And then obviously we went and had the fight, and then I went back about a week later, I think, or 3 weeks later for the Taylor Bassoon 2. And it was absolutely freezing. I was thinking, oh God, we got a good week because it was freezing. I was thinking, thank God I did it on the first week.
Yeah. It definitely looked good there, though. The whole setup that he put together was incredible, wasn't it? As you say, the whole
Matchroom and Sky have done a brilliant job, to be fair. They've done a brilliant job.
Eddie's house.
I know, it's not very often a compliment, but he did a good job.
Yeah, no, 100%. So what fights are you looking forward to? You know, apart from the ones that, you know, because you're still looking at a fight yourself at the moment, aren't you? There's kind of hopefully one in the works coming soon. Hopefully. So until then, what fights are you looking forward to seeing this year? Is there anything in particular for you as a fan that you're looking forward to?
I think anyone who says anything but Joshua Fiore, you know, that can be done. You know, that's massive. I think, do you know what? There's just so many good competitive fights at certain weight divisions at the minute. You know, we've got Taylor, Josh Taylor's just been announced. I'm actually looking forward to Brockhouse McCaskill as well, the number 2 of that.
You got Clarissa Shields tonight.
Yeah, I know. I actually paid for the pay-per-view, but it was more just to show the support. I don't think I'll be staying up to it, if I'm honest. But it was, I couldn't have an all-women's event and not buy it and be like, yeah, I'm a pro women's boxing, and, you know, I want to support the women and then not buy it. So I did just buy it, just for buying it too. I was looking forward to Shan Cameron. I think Savannah Marshall was brilliant on her last outing. I'm looking forward to their being back out. Callum Johnson, we have the return of Callum Johnson.
I know. It's been a while, hasn't it? You know,
he'll be out soon.
He's now gone with.
Yeah. Again, it was just, you know, contractual issues that couldn't be resolved with Matchroom. So you can't just. I think Matchroom is one of the biggest platforms at the minute in boxing, and so if you can get on there, you know, it's ideal. You know, you can have your own shows in America, you know, Mexico, Italy, wherever. But
the brand is huge, isn't it?
The brand's huge. It's global now. So, but you can't just keep holding on forever, waiting for them to decide, like, which way your boxing route's going, and hoping and praying and wishing that, you know, they'll get you on a show, because they have so many boxers now that they're contracted to, that they have to get out, that they're not going to really want to contract you because you're just another name, another number that they have to get out then. So, you know, he went. Who else am I looking forward to?
I'm glad he's getting back out, because he does deserve it. He's a quality fighter,
he's a man of the division. He's a danger man, and he's, I think, undervalued and underappreciated.
Yeah, because I believe I watched him in an interview as well, and he turned around and said the same thing as you. He got offered a 3-fight deal, and I think he had Buatsi in his fight deal, and he said that went down to money as well. So it was kind of one of those where he had to fight. I think the first fight was Buatsi, which is a dangerous fight in itself. But then before he wanted to get where he wanted to get, it's like a similar situation. I won't go into it, but it's a similar situation in that respect. And, you know, I'm just glad he's now going to get the opportunities under Frank. And, yeah, I wish him well. He's a quality lad, and he always, you know, he deserves it.
Yeah, it's a good domestic division as well. You've got Callum Johnson, who I think is the number one in my eyes, at Buatsi, Yard, and Lyndon Arthur. So, you know, there's 3-4 good domestic fights there.
Yeah.
The same with the Americans, with Lopez, Stevenson, is it? Who else am I thinking of? Garcia.
It's become the division, really. At the moment, it's a real tough division.
It's on fire, and there's so many things happening in boxing where unexpected. I wouldn't say unexpected, but Loma gets beat. No one ever seen that coming. Probably only Lopez and his dad thought that could happen, and he got beat. Then Leon White is not. He knocked him down 2 or 3 times, and then gets knocked out, and then you just never seen that coming after the rounds before. Who else was I'm trying to think of? I'm trying to be dead smart. Garcia against Campbell, and there's so many upsets. Brockhouse, McCaskill, there's so many upsets in boxing. Underdogs can win at any time. You just got to believe in yourself.
I just think boxing's on fire at the moment, really. When you look at the fights that are happening, and some of them you wouldn't have even seen without the whole lockdown situation, because it made people fight each other. And some of the shows have been great. And as I say, I look at this year, and I just think there's some mega fights. And I know you brought up. I asked people this one, and I don't have fence sitters, so I'm just telling you now. AJ Fury.
AJ.
Okay, fair enough.
I mean, do you know what? It's one of them things where,
it's all in the approach, isn't it? It's how they're going to approach the fight. It's a boxing contest. It's very different.
Yeah, I just think AJ in his last 2 fights definitely has shown a different side. We all know that he's fast. We all know that he's explosive. We all know, he can punch. But he's shown patience. He's shown, sticking to a game plan. And I think he's done that on purpose in preparation for that, because he knows with Fury, I don't think if Fury can get up from a Wilder shot, then I'm not sure that AJ can knock him out. So you are going to have to be patient. You are going to have to be disciplined, and you're going to have to stick to the game plan, not just for 1 or 2 rounds, or when you're hit or when you're not. You're going to have to stick to it for the whole 12 rounds. And I think he's showing sides to his boxing and a maturity that we hadn't seen before. And it is 2 heavyweights in their prime performing at their best, at their peak. When was the last time we had that? And
I just think it's probably going to be the biggest fight that's going to split the nation down the middle.
Yeah. Because you can't. You're going to have to choose a side, and that's what's great about it. It was like the old, Ben Eubank Collins days. When they fought, you had to pick a side. There was no people sitting on the fence. You either loved him and you hated him, or you loved him and you know what I mean. And that's the way it's going to be. And it's a lot of debate. It's a lot of media attention. It's a big, huge boxing spectacle, and I think it's massive for the sport. But on the flip side of that, I also think that them type of fights in women's boxing are easier to make, and we don't see enough of them. I think Shields and Savannah is a huge mega fight.
I think it's got to happen. It's got to happen.
Listen,
to me, there's only one winner in that. There's only one winner.
I agree. After the last performance, I agree. After the last performance, I just think Styles make fights. Don't get me wrong, but I just think she's adapted that Fury style really well. And Savannah, she's she doesn't need a skills coach as such, because she has all the skills. She's been a world champion. She was elite at the top, but sometimes she needs her mind coaching, and I think Pete does a really good job of doing that. And you can see how focused and she enjoys her training again. She got to towards the end of her GB career, and she hated being there, and sometimes it showed. And now she's back in that zone where this is the best of Sav, and I don't still think we've seen the best of her. And I think when that time comes, it will be the best of her.
Yeah, definitely. Just while you pick up on that note, we'll just send our love out to Peter Fury, who lost his mum this morning. You know, just hope that everything goes all right with his family, and you know, we're all thinking of him because it's, you know, a very difficult time for them all, and you know, I know how close they are as a family. So just send the love out to Pete Fury and everyone at that end. But yeah, he's a fantastic trainer, and you know, I don't think he gets half the credit really either. You know, he's done a good job with Hughie. He's doing a great job with Savannah, and you know, I just hope he continues to do it. On the last note, because I'll let you go soon, because I know you know.
Baby's bad. It's okay. It's fine.
I was going to ask you on Courtney and Ball. Where can you see that one going?
They're one of the lucky ones that are getting a rematch to begin with. But
it wasn't anything personal.
I think Ball wins me. I think she wins more convincingly than she did last time. I think, you know, she has stepped up. She knows the standard that she needs to be at. She's investing in herself, and she's taking herself serious because she knows she has to get to that next level. I'm not saying, like, that's no disrespect to Shannon. I'm not saying that she doesn't, but I just think, I just think Ball wins. I think, you know, with I've actually sparred Rachel, and like, we are quite close. But yeah, I just think she's a better all round stuff. I think Shannon's really good at certain things. But you know, she's only young. She's got lots of time to develop.
Yeah, no, definitely. I just think Ball in that last fight, technically, she was brilliant. She you know, measured quickly. You know, she just worked the jab so well, and she's not afraid to have a fight either. And that's what I really like about her. You don't know what you're going to get with Ball. Yeah. You know,
very much, but you need that
in there, didn't she? But Ball just measured her well, and you know, seemed to work it. I've got some more comments. Hang on a minute, it's all happening. Respect to you, Joel, my bro. Yeah, thanks, Albert. Great to see Natasha Jonas on. I think you got a fan there, Tasha.
Thanks, man.
I think Albert's a bit of a fan.
Albert was an Arsenal fan, though, so we don't know about that.
Yeah, he was, yeah. Is that all right?
Yeah, to be fair, I don't mind Arsenal. To be fair.
That's all right. I'm an Arsenal fan as well, so that's all right. And yeah, another Arsenal fan. WDT, Gary, hello, Joel and Tasha. So they're all slowly coming out of the woodwork. But yeah, no, as I say, I really appreciate your time. And I see you training, and you can tell that you're ready to go. And I just hope that we get to see you out soon. Hopefully, you know, we can hear some news in the next few weeks when something's made. I'm sure. Yeah, I know. Joe Gallagher's working hard down there, and
Joe's so meticulous in everything that he does, and he's another one that doesn't get the credit he quite deserves. He gets a lot of backlash of stuff, and you know, everyone's got an opinion, but no one sees behind the stuff that he does and go through. And for us, you know, I go through a 12-10 week training camp, and then, you know, I can have a little bit of time off and, you know, do what I'm doing. Joe goes on to Callum Johnson, then he goes on to Paul Butler, then he goes on, you know, to Samurai, then he goes on to Ozzy. He just doesn't stop, and he is literally relentless in his work. And yeah, he doesn't get the credit he deserves. He does so much behind the scenes in his academy for us, and everything that nobody else sees. And he doesn't want people to see it. If I put it up, he'd be probably highly embarrassed. But, you know, that's just the person he is.
Yeah, he's a guy that does all behind the scenes, doesn't he? And he doesn't want the credit. He's one of those typical sort of coach, sort of trainers that goes out and he just the credit's with the fighters, isn't it? How it should be. And you know, he knows what he's doing, but he doesn't need to shout from the rooftops. He just wants he wants the work to be done in the ring, doesn't he? And
yeah, no.
You know,
and that's like, he's the first one to get criticism if one of us lose, and the last one to get the praise when one of us does well. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's
not right.
It's a job being a coach. I people say, oh, you know, after boxing, would you do it? Would you go into that side of it? And I would love to say I would. Definitely do amateur stuff. But I couldn't do what I look at Joe, and I think I couldn't do that. I couldn't sacrifice the time and effort that he puts in. And if you're going to be a trainer at his level, you have to do that. And I just couldn't. I know I couldn't.
No. Well, you're not done yet, so let's not even think about that sort of thing.
Yeah,
You've got
no,
to win, yeah.
Before
You're
then.
going out on a high. You're getting that title. So, you know,
or all of them, whichever one comes first.
Yeah. Take any of them. It's fine. It's fine.
Yeah.
It's fine. But yeah, no, I really appreciate. Get my words out. Appreciate your time, and yeah, thanks for coming on. I really appreciate it.
And thank you for supporting us, and being positive and getting the message out there. Thank you.
No, always welcome, and yeah, hopefully I can grab some of the others and get them on here at some point as well. Get Callum on in the next couple of weeks with a bit of luck.
Well, message.
Yeah, nudging.
Yeah, you know the amount of people that have asked me for interviews with Callum. Every time I do, I'm like, can I get Callum? I'm like, oh, all right, let me do mine first.
Yeah, just say I wanted you first. That's all. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
But no, thanks for coming on, Tasha, and I wish you all the best.
Thanks, Joel. Thank you. See you all
Love
soon.
to the family.
And you. Ta-ra.
Take care. Well, Natasha Jonas, I'm absolutely buzzing. What a lovely, lovely person. Wish her all the best for the future, and I'm sure she's going to absolutely smash it. As I say, if you're joining us for the first time, make sure you subscribe and like the video. And yeah, you've been watching JG's Fight Talk, sponsored by Rich's Boxing, and I'll see you all soon. Thank you very much.